Justin Fields sucks.
Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
Of commercial-free football start now.
Welcome to the Hit Stick Pod. Happy Turkey Day if you're watching this tomorrow. Happy Turkey Eve if you're watching this right now. We actually
Happy
have
Black
some
Friday if you watch it on Friday. Yeah.
We actually have fans of the show. Kastner reached out to me and was like, "Hey, if Scully ever misses again, like I'd gladly be on." I'm like, "Oh, we'll definitely put you in the rotation." Bar, we got two fans. Weirdly enough, Payson messaged me nonstop and asked me about what a certain team did that we're not allowed to talk about that team anymore on the show. And I said, think of Germany in 1940. Very similar, just less death. But we're here. We're on the podcast. We've added a fourth member for some stupid reason. Or fifth member, I guess. Coho. How you doing? You're bald, and
ride with Dobbs.
You lost to the Broncos. So, what's up?
Yeah, conservative football in the last couple minutes is something that almost bit us 2 weeks ago, and it bit us last week. And O'Connell acknowledges that, and it won't happen against the Bears. It's gonna be
right. Can you please put your hat back on? The glare is bothering me.
No, we're riding with Dobbs.
Shave your eyebrows if you're really going to ride with Dobbs. And next up, Nazario, abusing teams left, right, and center, basically. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. But the glare is real. Like, that was blinding. Yeah. Other than that, I enjoy that we're playing tomorrow, so good shit.
The funny thing is, if you watched last week, I had a huge reaction to it. Mark and Nazario acted like they've seen it before. It was crazy. He took off that hat, and you both were like, and I was like, next up, Mark, the university that he supports gave a check for $168 million to pay out Jimbo Fisher. So they can do that twice now. That's kind of cool. So if they don't get the right guy next time, they can do it again. Oil money. Love it. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm just good. I'm assuming we beat Abilene Christian University. I didn't check because, I guess we can lose. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's over. But, we're here.
We're on bigger and better things.
Yep. Here, we're doing it. Bunch of kids in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. But
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I have children too, so I understand that noise. It doesn't actually affect me. I just go into PTSD moments sometimes, but it's fine. The man, the myth, the legend, he's back. The biggest supporter of the 58-minute man, Thomas Scully. How you doing?
I was actually boycotting the show until Justin Fields came back. So now that he's back, I'm back on.
It did work out. Perfect timing.
But you know what? Look, Panthers still suck. We're still going to get the number one pick. So people just got to deal with us again. So I'm okay with it. Our coaching staff is awful. They should be fired, hung, tarred, feathered, the whole shebang. So yeah, this is it's fun, real fun.
Okay, so there's a few topics that we're going to bring up and talk about from last week. Number one topic, I'm just going to get ahead of it because I got messages all week long. The Lions almost lost to the Bears. Good job picking the number one seed. They almost folded. Every one seed, or anyways, any good team has lost a game to a bad team. It happens every year. It's like clockwork.
We lost to the Vikings. I get it.
You lost to the Vikings. The Eagles lost to the Jets. Or no, the Browns. Browns? That's the Browns.
Jets.
Jets. Without 2 DB. Mahomes last year lost to the Colts. It happens every year. I believe this season, of any season, I believe there's look-ahead spots everywhere. There just is. Like, you can just roll off the bus, put your pads on, and beat the shit out of the Chicago Bears. It wasn't the case, and it was the case at the very end. Like, it wasn't close. The Bears lost in the most Bears fashion possible. I love that, by the way, we're all in a group chat on a Dynasty League. Your shit that you said, blame it on the O-line, the O-lineman put hands on Aiden Hutchinson. I just want that to be clear. Literally blocked him, and he hit the ball, and they kicked it out of the back of the end zone, which is becoming my favorite move in football, is the back of the end zone. So you can save your Lions hate. That's not our main topic. The main topic of the week we're going to kick off with is Chiefs-Eagles. Chiefs-Eagles, I don't know if we gained a lot from either side of this game. There's one concerning thing. There's actually two concerning things. One, the Kansas City Chiefs suck in the second half of football. They put all their points up in the first half, and they don't do dog shit in the second. They can't move. They can't do anything. Ridiculous. Again, Mark put it beautifully as anybody ever. This is the most frustrating team ever. We're watching the greatest quarterback of this generation, and his interview after that game said, should have thrown it a little shorter. No, you shouldn't have. You threw it right in his breadbasket. If you're a wide receiver in the NFL and your hands touch it, you should catch it. The bigger concerning thing is Mahomes is doing something that is slowly becoming the most irritating thing on the face of the earth. He is Brady 2.0. This motherfucker stands up after every play and points at the refs and be like, hey, you call flag. Hey, you see that? He is pointing out flags every game. He is the most whiny quarterback right now, and it's because he's one of the greatest. But shut the fuck up. Your guys' take on the Chiefs-Eagles, I think honestly, it just solidifies the Eagles are the best team in the NFC at this point, like of who they've had to beat. I think it's very clear. Their defense actually showed up and shut down that team. Again, the wide receivers kind of sucked, but what are your guys' takes on that game overall?
Yeah, I think this Mahomes is I like what you said about Brady 2.0 because it's very reminiscent of what he used to do. But again, when your receivers can't catch anything, you got to look for other ways to get yards, any way, shape, or form. You will do anything to not put blame on your teammates. You as a leader, you have to essentially be the professional face of the team. So sometimes that's just what you got to do. Also, second half woes, Matt Nagy. This is 100% Matt Nagy. This is how Matt Nagy calls games. He will call a great first half, like a first 15 plays script is beautiful.
We don't act like he's not been the offensive coordinator before. They scored well in the second half last year. What's this year?
This year is that he's actually gotten more control over the offense this year. Last year, Bieniemy was the guy in charge of the offense, and they were fine. Now you're back to a Nagy-style offense. They slow ball it, park the bus in the second half. Teams come back, and Spagnuolo, poor guy, he has to shoulder the blame for every loss because his defense can't, be on the field for 58 minutes a game.
I think they need better receivers, man. It's ridiculous. Like, some of these motherfuckers look like they have brick for hands. It's like fucking Johnny Depp and Edward Scissorhands trying to catch a fucking football out there. Like, Mahomes cannot be doing anything better. Everybody remembers the drop on the second down, which is fair. That was a touchdown. But that fourth down, man, it was 4th and 25. And he shucked it. He shucked it and hit him right in the freaking hands on the other side of the first down marker. And he was like, oops, no. It's just like the opening game against the Lions. Like, they couldn't catch a house. then I get it. They paid the man, so they couldn't pay Tyreek. There has to be somebody better right now. Like they need somebody who actually can function. It cannot be always Kelsey.
But NFL money doesn't make sense. We all understand that. I said this to somebody. How could they not have converted Mahomes, $20 million in Mahomes' contract to a signing bonus and then signed Hopkins? Like, how was that not on the table whatsoever? How did they not try to get Martavius Bryant? Like, get somebody of some value of some sort to get your quarterback. Because the NFL money doesn't make any sense. So for you just to sit there and just give him that, like
Hopkins went to the freaking Titans, man. Like nobody wanted Hopkins. It was ridiculous. Pay that man in, I don't know, circus peanuts, and he would have like 500 yards or something by now.
It's crazy. Like it's absolutely nuts. Like I don't know.
I think it's also more of a usage issue. You're utilizing the wrong guys in the wrong plays. You draft Rashee Rice in the 3rd round. He's easily been the most dynamic receiver on your team this season, and yet you're still having him split snaps with Sky Moore and MVS and Justin Watson. It does not make sense.
I'm pretty sure Mahomes is dyslexic. He hit 84 all game long. He did not he thought he was 87 out there. He threw at him every chance of every down, Mark said it, I think, in the chat. Why the hell is Watson getting all these targets? He was getting everything. Cole, what's your thoughts on this game?
I think it's as simple as Mahomes needed Tyreek or at least a receiver that knew what they were doing. Like
that's not true. He won last year. He won the Super Bowl last year.
And I think that
was his receivers last year.
He had at least Smith-Schuster, who I guess could catch them all. I don't know what I'm saying. All I know is it's the same receiving core, and they're not winning this year. And I don't know if that means people got wise, or if Juju was that important, or if Mecole Hardman was that important, or if there were just people who mattered to that team out there. But they're not catching the ball, and it's not Mahomes' fault. He can't play receiver and quarterback. So I don't know if they need to make a big free agency move and get a big time receiver.
So you're pulling a Giselle. You're pulling a Giselle after the Super Bowl. Like, hey, he cannot throw and catch the ball.
That's fair.
I mean, Mahomes is getting Kelsey is getting triple teamed, like every play. Like when Watson was open in the back of the end zone, that's because 3 of them were on Kelsey. And no one saw him. Like he wasn't moving, and they were all 3 on him. Yeah. Mark, what's your take? Mark, you were the most frustrated of this game.
I mean,
local.
For personal reasons, at a fantasy football matchup really depend on that game. And I needed 15 points with just A.J. Brown and Travis Kelce on the field, so I was freaking out for the majority of this game. Ben should pull out the win. That's neither here nor there. Their receivers suck. All of them are goddamn bums. We're trying to, maybe put a technical spin on it. It sounds smart when really, no, they just suck. They're all fucking terrible. And honestly, I'm not going to say Mahomes needs Tyreek, but I do think in some way, I think Coho kind of has a point. He's missing Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster
was not his stat last year.
I don't really feel. I think he may be 800 yards. But that they weren't eye popping, but it did feel like whenever there was just kind of a drive sustaining catch. He was the guy. He was just a dependable guy who he could go to when nobody else was catching because I think he had the same issues as last year because a lot of these people struggled last year. Sky Moore didn't pop up. He still sucks. Mecole Hardman, they thought they'd be better off without him. MVS has sucked his entire career. I don't know why we thought this was ever going to work. You know who his quarterback was before Patrick Mahomes? Aaron fucking Rodgers. And he was still a middling receiver. You tell me he goes from Aaron Rodgers to Mahomes. and like, oh, we're expecting just to get better. Like, get over it. And Kadarius Toney, can we just stop trying to make him happen? He goddamn sucks.
Mr. Brickhands.
He
was good at punt returns.
He's Cordero Patterson 2.0. Like he's
Fair.
probably like an electric player, but like he can't catch the effing ball, man. It doesn't matter. He is terrible. The only pass catcher in this team that's even worth a damn is Rashid Rice. The guy can't. He like I think like only twice this season he's had like over 60%. He's been on the field like for 60% of the snaps. Like for some reason they don't want to put him on the field, even though I don't know he catches the fucking ball. Like isn't that like kind of important on a fucking offense?
He should be what Tank Dell is right now in Houston. That should be his usage right now. And instead, he's in this backlog of terrible receivers who, their separation rate is solid, but they just can't catch. They can't make plays.
Maybe they have to get the old stickum. Get in the hands.
To be fair, I was wrong. I mean, I just didn't see this. Juju had 78 catches last year, 933 yards. He only had 3 touchdowns, which I think was the main thing that drew me. But yeah, you need somebody to get you down to the red zone. It doesn't matter who gets in the red zone. Yeah,
he was a dependable set of hands, and now that they don't he wouldn't have helped him this year clearly, but they needed to replace him, and they didn't.
So the next topic, just to check with everybody, we did Wednesday show, then the Burrow news came after, or was that last? Am I wrong?
Yeah, we did a Wednesday show, and Burrow got fucked on Thursday.
Yeah, so I think that this opens up my topic basically like that. So now this just makes the AFC, I think, even clearer. Like overall, you literally took Joe Burrow out of it. My next topic, basically, Miami, Buffalo, Jags. Good against trash teams, fraud against good teams. I don't think any of these teams will, one, make the playoffs. Sure. I don't think that's hard to do in the AFC at this point, but they will not go very far. I think Miami is a total fraud. They struggled against the Raiders, like ass against the Raiders. Like, that was one of the most frustrating games possible. There is no reason that defense held them to 20 points. Doesn't make any sense. Buffalo, of course, they kicked the shit out of the Jets, and now people are hopping back on that bandwagon. You should have beat the Jets the first time you played them. You damn sure beat them the second time you played them. And the Jags, of course, they beat up on the Titans where it is, but overall, the Titans are a fucking shit team too. When they play good teams, that team is going to struggle. That team is going to not do well. And I think they are in upset mode again against Houston, that Houston already took them to task last time. So thoughts on the teams that are considered good? I mean, you can also include other teams in there, but I don't think they're actually on fraud watch. Like the Vikings won't do anything post playoff. They play a hard team. Josh Dobbs turns into Josh Dobbs. The pumpkin, it turns back into a pumpkin, not the carriage. Like you say what you want. You're high.
Championship games happening, but anyway,
you're high on your own supply, and it's dangerous. Just to let you know.
Championship.
So, any other team I missed, but did I miss anything? Like, did I say anything incorrectly that you guys would argue with? And if you did, go ahead.
I feel you're right about Miami. Like the Dolphins are a weird thing. Like they have the tools. Like basically, they took whatever the 49ers didn't want anymore, and they are trying to make it work. And they look good generally, but they don't have, I don't know, they don't have something backing that. Like it feels, even when they're winning by a lot, you never feel like they are really in control of what's happening. And yeah, the moment that they like meet like a decent ass team, they're just gonna get fucking destroyed, which is what has been happening most of the season when they actually play with decent teams. Jacksonville, I think you are a little exaggerating with this. I think the Jaguars are fine. I think the Jaguars are not 16-1, of course. But
do you think they go to a playoff game though?
Yeah, I think they have a shot at winning one playoff game, just like last year when the Chargers became the Chargers and they won. But
so if they don't win the division, where are they going to be? Like 5 or 6 seed?
Probably the 5
Yeah.
seed.
So who would they play in the first round?
I don't know. They could be 6.
Probably their division
The
rivals.
AFC North winner, probably either the Ravens or the Steelers.
Whoa, hold on
no.
1 second.
They would
You say
play.
division winner, and you said 2 names that make you mean the Ravens.
It's either the Ravens or the Steelers who win that division at this point. So one of them are winning their division.
Hold on.
Not the same division. He's just saying that.
Hold on. Did the Browns just beat the Steelers on Sunday? Is that not what happened?
No, but the Browns are pumpkins. The Browns are part of this. They have no quarterback.
The Browns are pumpkins,
Browns
but
have
the
no quarterback.
Vikings are not pumpkins.
No, because the Vikings are a 10-time better team that would beat the Browns 10 times out of 10 if they played, because the Vikings have a quarterback. The Vikings have a quarterback. The Browns are playing the PTR.
The Vikings have a quarterback who couldn't make it in an offense designed by Charlie Brown. And by Charlie Brown, I mean whoever was coaching the University of Tennessee at the time.
I'm saying our quarterback would make DTR look like he belongs in high school.
I think Miami is a fake. I think the Jags are solid. I think they'll be enough, and they'll get better. They are getting better. They're in that process. This is not their year, but in a couple of years, it's going to be scary.
Sure.
And Buffalo, well, I don't even know what to say. I still have faith in Buffalo, but it is less than what it was.
Well,
It is fading a little bit.
The Eagles this
What?
Do they play the Eagles this week? Does Buffalo play the Eagles? Is that the match?
I think
Shit,
so,
let
yeah.
me see.
My thing is, I think until Buffalo makes a serious course correction in coaching
Yeah, they play
in the way they play,
They have such a hard.
they hit their peak 2 years ago. They're not going to contend. Miami and Jacksonville have room to improve because from a roster standpoint, they're still young. They don't have the championship experience aside from Tyreek Hill on that team. And I guess now Ramsey as well. But both teams have have a lot of issues they still have to work out. Jacksonville's offense is still very inconsistent. Trevor Lawrence still hasn't shown that he can be a consistent starter on a week-to-week basis. I think that's something that's flown under the radar a lot. For all the talk about the 2021 class,
he struggles so bad when he plays.
He does not look like
That's
the
why I just
prospect
traded
we were
his ass.
promised in that year. And as far as Miami goes, it just feels like every week either the offense doesn't show up or the defense doesn't show up. And in the playoffs,
Has the defense showed up at all? Like this year?
they only allowed 13 points yesterday, and I get that was against a rookie quarterback. But at the end of the day, they still have a top 5 receiver in the league on their team.
By the way,
No,
talk about carrot turned back into the pumpkin. That Kentucky quarterback is exactly who I knew that Kentucky quarterback was. A strong arm that ain't worth shit. Like Will Levis sucked in college. He sucks in the NFL. If he doesn't have Hopkins, he ain't got nothing. You can air the ball 50, 60 yards, and if you're a little wide open, they should catch it. But I'm telling you,
I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a lot more fun to watch than Bryce Young on a week-to-week basis. I'll say that.
Poor Bryce Young.
But I also thought that in Alabama. Like, I don't trust any quarterback that doesn't really face adversity in college. Like, when you play Alabama, and you just get your shit kicked in by Georgia.
My hot take for Secretly Turds is that the Cowboys belong on this tier when you look at their schedule, too. If we're going to talk about teams that every time they play a real team, they get their ass kicked. They got absolutely destroyed.
Wrong.
No, I'm not. They got destroyed by the Niners. They got beat by the Eagles. They got beat by the Cardinals, which I'll give them as a weird bad game. And then every other team they beat is shit. So like,
arguably they should have beat the Eagles.
They lost, though. You could say should have. The Vikings should have beat the Broncos, but that's still a loss on the record.
The Niners should have beat the Browns.
I'm telling you, I love
the Bears should beat the Lions.
Our best thing is us not having a fandom because the circle back and the jerk fest that goes on with their teams in this show is insanity. He's sitting over there. He is literally sitting over there as somebody that supported the Vikings and believes that Josh Dobbs is going to take them to the NFC Championship game. He needs to be hospitalized. He is delusional.
Okay.
You can shave your head and you can call your guys as good. You don't have a run game in, and you face a strong D7. front seven, your fucking shit is kicked in, which proves this week you lost to the Broncos. Which
Okay.
I got a question. Where would you rank the Broncos in overall? They are now what? 5-5?
Good defense, bad offense. Just
Russell
LeBron
Wilson
James.
is having his
Where
best.
would you rank
Russell
them?
Wilson is having his best season since the COVID season. By the way,
Where would you
Which is
rank them?
weird because he's not
Where would
good.
you rank them?
They're still a bottom 15 team in the league. I don't know. They're still
So
in the bottom.
you just lost to a bottom 15 team, but you were talking so much shit about the Lions losing to the Bears. Where would you consider the Bears?
Bears are dog shit. But anyway, the point that I was making before we
Who do you guys
sidetracked
play?
whatever this is, and Mark kind of nodded along with me there for a second, is that the Cowboys
Did
kind
he?
of belong on this tier.
Oh.
If we're gonna talk, if we're
No,
gonna,
he
Don't
didn't
put me
agree.
on
He
if
didn't
we're gonna,
agree with
you
you.
were nodding along, Don. If we're gonna
No.
talk,
No, it was.
if we're gonna talk about teams,
reaction.
if we're gonna talk about teams like Buffalo and Jacksonville and Miami, who all lose who beat all the shit teams, but then when they play the real teams, they lose when it matters. It's Dallas.
Panel. Vikings Dallas play in Minneapolis. Who wins?
the Cowboys probably put up like 41 on them. I'll be honest.
Dallas.
Again,
Dallas.
this is not a
mean,
conversation. This is a
You
conversation
mean right
on the
now
field.
with Dobbs or like imagining Kirk
Hold
Cousins
on.
playing?
So where do the Vikings? I'm not trying to put this back into you, but you have delusions of that the Vikings are a good team. So you think right now, push come to shove, Minnesota will go farther than Dallas.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So
mean,
my
it
question
depends.
if Dallas
It
and
does
you
depend, though.
guys, if you and Dallas shut up about the play, I understand. Because we got two teams that choke in the playoffs, so let's not consider one better than the other. One's just America's team, and one's not. If they played, who wins?
I genuinely think the Vikings could beat the Cowboys in a one-on-one game. Dobbs has already beaten him once this year with a worse team.
Let's entertain the Cowboys secretly turds argument for just 1 second. Because by that logic, if we're saying that any team that beats teams worse than them but loses to teams better than them are turds, then conceivably about 25 of the 32 NFL teams in the league are secretly turds.
Sure, but
So
I'm
there's
saying
that.
we call the
So-
Cowboys good.
I am calling the Cowboys good because in the regular now again playoffs whatever, but right now what they're doing since the Arizona game, they have A, won the games that they need to win, and B, in the case of the Philly game, they've kept it close and they've shown they can go toe to toe with them. They are more competitive against Philly than they were last season. Last season, it wasn't really, it didn't really feel like that much of a contest because of all the issues with the Cowboys running game and Zeke and Pollard splitting carries. But now this season, even with a significantly weakened defense with Diggs out and a lot of those injuries on that side of the ball, Dan Quinn has coached that defense to be a little bit more stout and more dominant than last year. So that's the difference between this year and last year for Dallas.
Dallas has not beat a team with a winning record. I 100% agree with that.
No, and I do think when push comes to shove in the playoffs, they will obviously choke again because that is their identity and because that is Mike McCarthy's identity as well.
If I'm being 100% real, there is only two teams that I believe are coming out of the NFC. I'm not delusional by any means. It is the 49ers and Eagles. Everybody else is playing for fifth, whatever place you want to be. You're not those. No team in the NFC right now.
So you admit the Lions are not the number one seed.
Yeah, baby.
That's not what I'm admitting. I said the Lions will get the 1 seed. I don't believe they make it to the Super Bowl. Does every 1 seed win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl? No. Buffalo had it last year, right? No, Buffalo had it. It doesn't always happen. I believe the Lions will have the number 1 seed based on scheduling. And I've also said on this show, if the Eagles beat these 5 teams, the hardest schedule right now on paper, they deserve the 1 seed, and I will lose the bet. I know that, but I'm going against odds. if I had to play dog shit
No.
teams like the Bears and Vikings, I have a shot to beat them versus the Bills, the 49ers, the Cowboys. Like that's a gauntlet.
So what you're saying is they're going to be the number 1 seed. Going to get a bye, and they will lose in the second round.
Yes,
Immediately.
100%. I'm going off.
That seems like it checks out.
Here's the thing. He's at least correct in the sense that the Lions are a one and done playoff team because
I am not saying when I said they were the 1 seed, that didn't mean that they were going to win. I was going off a strength of schedule remaining. When you have to play the NFC North, which is the worst division in football at this current moment, besides the AFC South, I think when you get to play the Bears and you get to play the Packers and you get to play the Vikings with Josh Dobbs, that's a better run than having to play the Cowboys, Tommy DeVito MVP now, and the Bills, the 49ers. They have a gauntlet. If they walk away from that, I'm not only saying the Eagles are going to be the number 1 seed, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. They played every hard team in the game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. So, I'm glad we agree. Next one. This is a really weird year. I said this at the beginning of the season. I say it again. Defenses this year are not like they have been in years past. Good teams are getting held to like minimal scores. Like, I know not everybody's a sports bettor here, but unders are like at a stupid rate this season. The ball they're holding, that Philadelphia Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs game, I think they had like the ball. The Eagles had the ball 3 times in the first half, like full drives, like actual drives. They got held out completely for so much. So I'm thinking there's going to be a surprise team like the Browns that make it to the playoffs because their defense is that good at home where they are going to literally destroy teams. And they already beat a team that they needed to beat to make that more of a case, and that was with the Ravens. Letting the Ravens play around with them, they held if you watch the Steelers-Browns game, God bless you, that was the Steelers got the ball at the 50-yard line like 3 times. All they had to do was go 20 and kick a field goal. They got sacked every time. And this is the game that Matt Canada gets fired. I think is hilarious. You've been outgained your entire season. And now you're like, something's got to change. Yeah, let's change it because we're getting close to that 500 and I can't go below 500, so I need a scapegoat. This offensive coordinator scapegoat stuff is hilarious to me. Like, Tomlin, just call the plays then. If you think you're that good, you take over play calling. Like, that's what I would say. So I think the Browns are going to get into the playoffs because I think of the good defense. I think the defense is going to change, like, their entire direction of it's gross. I think they should get killed. But this is kind of reminding me of like Raven vibes, like 2010 Raven vibes. They had Joe Flacco. He hit the deep ball when he had to, but the defense just punched him in the mouth the entire time. Coho made my point. He thinks they're turning back into the pumpkin, but anybody else disagree? The Browns are what now? 7-3?
Yeah, 7-3.
I want it made known. I think they're a playoff team, not winning their division. Like, I think they'll make it and they'll be one and done, and they're not going to succeed.
How did the Steelers hop them? That's my question for you.
I think the Steelers will hop. I think the Steelers have just a better team. I think the Steelers are just a better team. I think the Browns have the best player on either team in Myles Garrett, and that he's terrifying as always. But I don't see the.
This is actually a really good question. Do the Steelers have linebackers?
What?
Do the Steelers have linebackers when they play?
I mean, yes.
Because I've never seen Jordan Love and who's the other quarterback for the Browns hit the middle of the field more in my entire life to wide open guys that could set up a campsite. Go back and watch the All-22 film of the Packers game. They are literally just sitting in an island by themselves. Like, Dobbs is in the middle of the field with nobody around him for like 10 yards, and he's just standing there. So I don't. The Steelers comment doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like I just don't.
Especially when you realize Kenny Pickett can't hit a receiver 15 yards
Pickett's dog
downfield.
shit. Pickett's
And
dog
not
shit.
to mention their number one receiver, George Pickens, can't stay in bounds on a basic crossing route. So I have no faith. I have no faith in the Steelers to go anywhere.
But
Or
who's
do
gonna
not
throw
call-
the ball? Like who the hell is gonna excuse me, Deshaun Watson was shit. But at least he knew how to fucking throw the ball.
His name is
Who's-
Grover Cleveland.
Who's gonna throw the ball in Cleveland now? What? I don't even know who the fuck is the quarterback.
Dorian
I like
Thompson
DTR.
Robinson.
I like DTR actually.
PJ Walker still there?
I think he's solid.
PJ Walker, if he gets healthy.
Guys, we just talked about it. Joe Flacco is on the Browns now. They're going to succeed, clearly.
Right.
By the way, Barr, do not feed into Coho's delusion that a defensive
Oh,
player
you're
will
gonna be
never win MVP. You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
So I think
Cooper Kupp did not win the MVP, and he was the Triple Crown winner from the like he held in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And they said, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers, like still gave it to another guy."
But the bottom line with how well the defenses have played this year, it is a prime year for a team like the Ravens, who have had offensive struggles in the playoffs, to finally get over that hump. If there were ever a year where Lamar Jackson can just relax and play his game and not have to worry about proving people wrong and whatnot, he just sits back, throws for a casual 160, runs for another 100. The Ravens can win the Super Bowl. They can cruise through they can.
Oh
I truly believe I truly believe if they face Kansas City and they play they play their game, the defense shows out the way the Eagles did on Monday night, I think the Ravens can win that game.
Nazario, we literally just had a segment talking about all of the fraud teams in the AFC, and you're like, "Oh, the Ravens can't win They're literally the best team in the AFC right now. They are the best team in the AFC.
No.
I don't know what we're doing here.
No.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
Listen,
In a
Ravens are not
division,
gonna win.
in a
The
division, where
Ravens are
Myles
not gonna
Garrett and
win the Super Bowl, man.
in a
What the
division
hell?
where Myles Garrett and TJ Watt exist, I'm scared of the Ravens defense the most.
So, like, it could be you have these weird things of these teams, and I think you still hold some resentment for them beating you in the Super Bowl. But like, this is like Coho. You're talking about logistic, like they're 8-2. Ah, they're dog shit. They're gonna lose because it's in your division. Like you have these like things like. The Yankees could be the best team in baseball. And I'm like, these fucking idiots, they should die in a plane crash tomorrow. Like, I don't care. Like, you can list in facts.
Cody,
but I still
stop
hate
leaking our DMs.
Oh, sorry.
But
There's
it's
a few
true.
games.
Like, fuck the Ravens. I don't think they're gonna make it.
There's also something that's really interesting in this game too. These games, just division games. Nazario's kind of said it all year. We just kind of never touched on it. Like when the divisions play each other, they play differently. It's just how the games always work.
They do.
Commanders play like the Rams are complete dog shit. Remember, no one on this panel ever said that this team was going to be good or go very far. So that's really smart that no one believed in the Rams this season. Because yeah, that would but they beat the Seahawks. Like they always go with those tight games. They always just battle each other really tight. So like that's going to be the interesting thing down the stretch where people drop games. And I think it's really interesting this year, especially from past years when the rest comes into play, because there's going to be some teams that I think the number one seed is going to be up for a while. Like no one's going to clear it by a large margin at this point. You have to be playing up until the end point to win. So I think that's very interesting. I know he didn't enter concussion protocol, but did anybody else watch the Texans-Cardinals game and believe CJ Stroud was concussed near the end of that game? Because they didn't lose that game, but my God, did he try to give them the game, like give away that game. He tried everything in his partner besides handing the ball to Kyler Murray on the sidelines and saying, go score. The throws he was making, the decisions he was doing, he got that hard hit in the middle of the game where I'm like, fuck. And I think these last two games for Kyler was very important because I don't think the Cardinals are going to give up on Kyler as much as everybody assumed that they were going to give up on Kyler, I think they're going to stick with Kyler and draft him weapons and people to build around him or defense to build around him. I think they're going to keep Kyler Murray going into next season. Like, I don't think they're going to risk it because he's not the offensive coordinator from the Eagles. He was the defensive coordinator from the Eagles.
Gannon is the defensive coordinator.
You can't tell me that Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray aren't like similar quarterbacks in that regard that can run. He's shorter, of course, but he's got a cannon. Like I think he wants to build it around that kind of quarterback, and he's impressing him enough, but knowing the weapons that he has are just not up to snuff at this point. So those are my two things.
Why would they go in rebuild mode if they planned to keep him all along?
Because I don't think the team around him was very strong, and he was injured.
No. The team around him was built off of aging veterans on bad contracts they needed to get off. They need to get off their books.
They signed J.J. Watt. They had Chandler Jones. They had
and Hopkins too.
I don't know. I wouldn't have cut Hopkins. I would have kept Hopkins. That at least.
Well,
so
when Kyler's out for half the season, there's no point in keeping Hopkins.
Yeah, you get rid of him when you can. And
is this his last year?
This year or last year? Or both?
Wait, is this Kyler's last year on the contract?
No,
Kyler's got like a 5-year extension. He got a huge extension.
In his second year of the extension, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
But they believe they can move him to another team and draft for not much draft capital, but move him to a team that needed a quarterback. Like, I could see him going to the Atlanta Falcons, like the Voldemort. I could see them going to that fucking piece of shit, dog shit organization.
Arthur Smith's tax write-off.
We did it once. We don't need it. No, there's 3 teams in the NFC. There's only 3 teams over there, so we're not talking about them. Okay. Anything on Kyler moving on? Does everybody think they're going to stick with Kyler, or does somebody think By the way, Caleb Williams stock. We don't talk about college. Down the tank. Would never touch him with 100-foot pole. You do not hop in the stands and bawl like a baby back bitch to your mother after a game. You do not do that ever. I don't want to see my franchise quarterback cry. If I got a release that my franchise quarterback's watching Gilmore Girls with his girlfriend, cut him tomorrow. I don't need it. I don't need any of that. No, you're cutting wood in the woods. That's what I need you to do. You're not crying like a bitch. Fucking sobbing to losing after they already lost a game. They weren't going to the fucking playoffs. What a bitch. What an app. I hated Caleb Williams from the start. What a bitch. Like, no. Don't draft.
Do you remember that Tim Tebow bawled his eyes out when he lost the championship?
Yeah.
And he got drafted.
Nick Saban made him cry.
That was for Jesus, though.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I forgot to mention this when you were talking about the coordinator shit. The Niners went on a 3-game losing streak. And Shanahan was like, the problem is that Steve Wilkes is in the booth. He has to be on the field. And then he made him come down to the field, and they win 2 games. He's like, yeah.
That's kind of the CIA.
What we needed was him standing down here.
That's like the CIA saying JFK needs to be out in the open more.
But somebody that played defensive tackle.
Happy anniversary.
There's not a shot. There's not a shot that I would want my defensive coordinator. That I would want my defensive coordinator to be up in a booth at all. I would like to talk to him. If you do not, D'Amico Ryans was on the sidelines.
Yeah, solid too. But my point is, like, I never understood the thing about being on the fucking booth. Are you watching a TV? Are you playing a video game? Are you watching the TV?
Well, because you can see the whole field. There's a plus. You can see the whole field, but you can't also get into one of your players' face and be like, "You fucking idiot!" You have to call them on a cell phone and be like, "Here, talk to your. What the fuck are you doing?"
I don't like it for offensive coordinators. I like it even less for defensive coordinators.
Did anybody else see Andy Reid yell at Travis Kelce on Monday? That was hilarious. Like, Travis, and grunted like he was so mad at his decision. I loved it.
It was like watching Wilford Brimley in The Firm.
Why do they run that commercial so much? The one where Mahomes is trying to explain like fucking insurance to Andy Reid with fucking burgers and fries, and then he's like,
it's funny.
Explain it again with the Nuggets.
It's fucking terrible. I see Travis Kelce on my TV way too many times. All right. We're gonna get to everybody's favorite part of the show. The power rankings. Presented by a bald fuck.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
And same thing as always, ask a question and get the questions from him, and he will describe what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Good shit. Here you go.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
I don't get it. Like, I'm wearing the hat. I still don't know why you have the number one. It's
So
kind
a
of
two-win-
insane right
hold
now.
on. How is a 2-win team ahead of a 5-win team? That's my first question.
Which one are we talking about here?
The Cardinals over the Broncos.
Oh, because it's pretty simple. Kyler Murray is better than anyone on the Broncos, and I believe in the Cardinals more than I believe in the Broncos.
You believe in Tim Boyle?
I believe in the Cardinals, sir.
Okay, my question is, since you said that, do you know who plays free safety for the Broncos?
I don't have a name right now of who you
Okay.
refer to.
Well, do you know who your tight end for the Vikings are?
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver.
Okay, so back-to-back plays near the end of that game, he went up to make a catch, and he turned him into a punk
talking
bitch and made him. He couldn't hold the ball numerous times by the free safety. You need to do some research on him.
I believe the Broncos defense is great. I believe that the Cardinals is team I would.
I'll raise you this. I think Patrick Surtain is better than anybody on the Cardinals roster, personally. I think he might be the best corner in the NFL.
Go ahead. We have a lot of questions.
I know Joe Burrow got hurt, but you dropped that team 13 spots.
Yep. That's how valuable Joe Burrow is.
One player, 13 spots.
Yes. When your player's Joe Burrow, yes.
But Kirk Cousins drops and they get Josh Dobbs and they're fifth.
Yeah, because Josh Dobbs is a breath of fresh air that is comparable to Kirk Cousins. Josh Dobbs is an MVP candidate in my mind here, all right? I'm being real.
Here's my question. I have two, and I'm going to ask both because I fucking can't. 21 is the Washington Commanders. Yep. They lost to Tommy DeVito.
Yep.
Second, the Eagles have now beat the Cowboys and the Dolphins, and they are still at who? And the Chiefs. And they are at 2 still. What do they have to possibly do to move to number 1?
It's simple. And Nazario just said it. Beat the 49ers.
Beat the Niners. Is
Beat
it
the 49ers to number 1.
The Niners have lost 3 games to 3 bad teams.
The Vikings are not a bad team. The Vikings are a Super Bowl contender.
The Bengals are not a bad team. They just they lost.
The Bengals were not a bad team when they beat the 49ers.
And the Browns are playoff bound.
Yeah, and you think the Browns are a Super Bowl team. So
I did not. What? Why do you always go to like dramatic?
Okay. The fact that they just beat the Chiefs, who are the champions, who beat them in the Super Bowl last year, should have put them at number 1. I, as a 49er fans, I can accept that fact.
That is the most valid point to put the Eagles up to 1. The issue is I still think the 49ers are an all-around better roster.
I mean, yes, but right now,
I have a question.
There's the proof.
I have a question. Why is Arthur Blank's tax write-off above the Bills and the Buccaneers and the Rams?
Do not say the name.
I will not say the name. The FedEx corporate sponsored Nepo team is, I believe, dysfunctional as fuck, and I think every team below it is some form of dysfunctional as fuck. I think the Voldemort Nepo baby team is probably the most doable dysfunctional team. The Voldemorts are alive in their division. The Bills are dead. This season's over.
The Rams swept the Seahawks, and they're 8 spots below.
The Rams aren't that good. I like the Rams. I want
They
them to
swept
do
them. They beat them twice.
No, the Rams. Here's the thing: the Rams didn't beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks lost to themselves.
Can you take your fandom hat off for like 4 seconds?
No, Cody. He has to keep the hat on.
Your team.
Sure,
Yeah,
fandom
keep
hat off.
it. No, fuck no. No, put it back. Put it back. I see a dick hole at the top. It's crazy. Okay, listen. The Vikings were 5th last week. They're 5th again. They just lost to the 25th ranked team. They have to drop below the Ravens and the Jaguars and the Dolphins. It doesn't make any sense why you keep them in the same spot after a loss to a terrible team in your eyes. It makes no sense.
They lost to a terrible offense. They did not lose to a terrible defense.
So I also have. So I believe, I firmly subscribe to the belief that I hate that green team in Wisconsin a little bit more than you do, but they do not deserve to be below Tommy DeVito and Sack Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck the Packers. Who cares? Like at that rate, that bottom rung are all a blob of the same level of shit. You can tell me they can go in any order, and I'd probably agree. But this is the order I chose to put the dog shit bottom of the league in. They all suck.
If
I were doing tiers, they would just be off the tiers.
I put the Bears at 26.
I think the only thing. What? Who?
Not.
I think the only thing I think I have to bring up, even because I've been the basher. I think me and Nazari have been basher of this team forever. I think we slightly brought the Broncos. The Broncos are on a 4-game winning streak, which includes your number 3 team, your number 5 team, and your number 16 team, and they can't sniff the top half.
No. Next question.
The other thing before we go on, because you're delusional, the Vikings could lose this week and you'd still keep them in the same spot because they have a bright future.
No, I'll put it this way. If the Vikings lose to the Bears, they're taking a nosedive. If they lose to a dog shit team like the Bears, nosedive.
We have the opportunity.
They're in the bottom 7. They're in the bottom 7, and that's not a nosedive. They're in a bottom 7. They're not a nosedive. Oh, please make that make sense to me. You're saying that they lose a game to that and they're taking a nosedive. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody on the panel. Did not the 9-ranked team lose to the 32 team this season?
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
You're an idiot. You're an absolute imbecile. Take the on the screen. You don't actually put effort into this. Well, also, we didn't even talk. You didn't put zero. You put zero effort in there. My last thing is how Staley still has a job is
I don't get that at all.
Criminal.
There's several coaches who you cannot rationalize how they still have a job.
That was the easiest game I've ever bet in my entire life because I knew it was going to be within 3. By the way, I'm a huge Cowboy supporter now. One of my biggest bet to date on that game. Easy money. Thank you so much. Christmas is going to be nice. Okay, we're going to get to the picks. Nazario, the king of the kings of the Eliminator, won again. Proud of you. Very proud of you. So how this is work, I said at the top of the show.
The other things, but I can pick this.
You just picked dumb things on the other one. Just make sense. But I did say at the start of the show, for fun and for my humor, I'm slowly creeping up. Like, it's crazy. I've had 15 losses, but my wins are getting close. That's nice. Let me eliminate this. I did say at the start that Scully and Koha are now a unit. It's Scully and Friends because Scully decided to have real life responsibilities instead of but it's fine. And then or Nazario needed a day and Scully was free and Nazario ranked higher than Scully, so that's kind of what happened. But it will go Nazario, then me, then Scully and Friends, and then Mark, and then we'll go in reverse. So and we are picking all games. Every game will be picked. So yay. So Nazario, pick the hardest game of the week like you normally do and just throw it out there.
I think I'm gonna Like this is the thing.
Do it.
Like
Do it.
I feel the fucking
You know
Chiefs
you want to do it.
are gonna be looking to take it out on somebody, and the Raiders seem like fresh meat. Like they can probably be that sacrifice to the Mahomes altar. But shit, man, these are fucking divisional games, and those turn out weird. But even with the weirdness of divisional games, I don't see a way that the Raiders beat the Chiefs. So I'm gonna take the Kansas City Chiefs 24-14.
Real barn burner.
Can you give me that one more time?
Chiefs over Raiders 24-14.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, my pick. I can't pick certain games because I can't ruin my own self. So, I am going to take. Ooh, maybe I use my curse on that one. That would be fun. But I'll save it. Yeah, I know it's tough defense, but it would help me with a fraud alert overall if I did do this. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins because last time I checked that Tim Doyle, who is it? Who's
Tim
playing
Boyle.
quarterback?
Tim
Bears
Boyle.
legend
Tim Boyle is playing quarterback. I believe Jalen Ramsey may just take his lunch. So I'm going to guess this is going to. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. It's going to be at 2:00 on Friday, which is a weird time for everybody to play. But I think it's going to be like 21-9. So they're going to get some field goals, but they ain't still getting into the end zone. So Scully and friends. You guys want
I think Scully, we can agree on the Cowboys beating the Commanders.
I had the exact same one in mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Cowboys over Commanders 38-20.
Agreed.
What was your score?
38-20. Sam Howell gets some beautiful garbage time points. He'll probably throw for 330 yards. 200 of those will be in the fourth quarter.
That's fair. Mark.
Yeah, he's got to keep leading the league, man.
Well, since this is still here, Mark, what are you taking?
I mean, I feel very good about these first two picks. First of all, it looked like they were going to fuck me, but then they didn't. They came back and they won that motherfucker. We are going to stick with the good old Lions.
Yeah, you're
taking
welcome.
down the Green Bay Packers.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. I couldn't pick them, but
I almost drove my car into a tree. You're welcome.
That makes no sense. You want to lose that game. You don't want to win that game.
We
Why
have
would you
the
want?
Panthers pick. I still want to win.
But you want to be closer. Don't you want Marvin Harrison and like a good quarterback?
I don't care. I want a new coach. I don't care.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Can you draft the coach? That's the question.
Send a
Shit,
draft
we
pick.
fucked that
Send
up
a draft pick to old Bill Bell.
All of our rookies.
Scully's
look
gonna draft
great
Bill Belichick.
on Sunday, so that's good.
All right. So Lions. What's the score? Did you say?
Let's say
Really good.
I'm not good at picking scores. Say 30-17. That makes it the over. I don't know if that's great.
Yeah, probably. Yes. Yeah.
The
Well,
Lions
definitely.
scoring 30 on Thanksgiving. Good lord, the Ford field might explode.
They're
The
at home. and the
world
Packers, I mean,
ends.
that could happen.
You
And,
guys double up if you think so, another side that somebody's going to win. It's a heads up. Go ahead.
And divisional game, and even though they're actually playing at Seattle, like Kenneth Walker's not going to be playing. If Geno Smith plays, he's not 100% healthy. This feels like a good win for the Niners.
Okay. Score?
Say 28-15.
Nice. Scully and friends.
Coho, I'm thinking Eagles Bills.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I think the Eagles. The Bills against that defense. Josh Allen might have like 4 picks. Diggs is going to get his ass locked up, and Diggs is going to be sitting on Philadelphia's sideline by the end of the game.
Diggs is going to request a trade at the start of the season.
Diggs is such a
Eagles
bitch.
win. Eagles win 27-14.
Okay. Hoping my curse works here. If not, I'll just get points, so that's fine. I'm going to take the Vikings over the Bears. I'm going to say that is going to be 24.
Game 2 is going to be either the greatest night or the worst night of my life.
24-10. So yeah, Nazario back to back.
I see a very interesting game here. Apparently, we are also doing the toilet bowl this week with the Giants and the Pats. I'm gonna put my money on Tommy DeVito over whoever the fucking Patriots decide to play, Mac Jones or
They
CP
should start
Sappy.
Malik Cunningham. I'm dead serious. They should start Malik Cunningham and just see what happens.
I agree.
Maybe they'll finally stick to a black quarterback for more than 5 games.
Yikes.
So they're gonna beat the Patriots 7-5.
I thought I swore it was going to be a 12-10 game.
Red.
And what's your next pick?
No. Jesus. Okay. Shit, everything is like. I don't feel like I'm gonna pick the team that I don't want it to win. So I'm just gonna pick the Rams over the Cardinals.
Trap game.
It's gonna be closer.
Trap game.
But I feel the Rams they can beat the Cardinals even with Kyler back. So Rams beat Cardinals. Fucking yikes! 28-24.
Oh, a normal score this time. Bold for you.
I may be wrong, but I don't see it on the board of anything. Did anybody take the Ravens yet?
Fuck.
Over the Chargers? No.
Okay, Ravens.
I was
the next one.
I was hoping that would fall.
20,
There's no way it would. I mean,
20. No, I saw it. I was like, that's going to be there. 28 to. I was surprised no one took it early. I'm going to say 28-21. I still think 28-14. Somebody's going to drop a pass. So, all right. Scully and friends.
A lot of these are trap games.
I would rather eat glass than pick the Titans, so I don't want to do that one.
I don't either.
But Steelers over Bengals because Browning's in a QB.
Wasn't that taken already? Did someone not already take the Steelers over the Bengals?
Nope.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, then fucking yeah. Okay.
For good reason. We didn't touch that one yet.
I'll go Steelers over Bengals.
Yeah, I
think at least it could be a Joe Mixon game. I think Joe Mixon could put up.
I would love if it were a Joe Mixon game, but I mean, honestly, this also might be the game where they finally give Jalen Warren more carries than Najee Harris, which needs to happen because he's the significantly better running back on that team. This is going to be a slugfest. I'm going to go Steelers win 16-10.
Are the Steelers
hits 3 field goals?
Are the Steelers home?
No, they're in Cincy.
Did
It
you
would be
say
a better shot if they were
16-10?
16-10.
Mark, what's your last two?
okay. What was the second game you picked, Cody?
Oh, you're picking the opposite. I like it. Vikings.
The Viking. Okay. No, I did not hear who you picked, so I was like, I need to.
Okay. I was like, you picking Bears? I love double points. Let's see it happen.
I mean,
Watch Cole coming here with his tail tucked between his legs next week if they lose to the Bears.
Yeah,
I would be the most insufferable person in the world if that happens.
Oh, those DMs would be so much fun.
Oh, man, this sucks. Oh.
Dude, what if the Bears beat the Vikings and we sign Yamamoto on the same day? Like,
I'm not picking that one.
can it
Not
get any
picking
better than this?
that.
I need Yamamoto.
I
Give me
I absolutely hate this one, but they seem to be surging and talk so much shit about him. It would make sense that this is going to bite me in the ass. But I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to beat the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Is it so what was your first?
It's at Denver. It's at Denver.
Yeah, that's a shot. They have a shot. So did you pick a team before that?
What?
What was your first game? Brown?
That
was
is
the
the first game.
Okay, good. Okay. I thought I missed one because me and Scully were talking about Japanese pitchers.
Yeah, this one's not. It's not gonna be good. Let's say 15-10. Like it's gonna be a shit game too. Like it's not.
five field goals in that game for the Broncos.
I mean, that or Russell Wilson scoring a touchdown.
You guys all see that terrible suspension of that play that Dobbs turned himself into a running back and got blown up?
Well, it's because it was the same guy who's done that play like
what a bullshit call! What a bullshit call! Don't turn yourself into a running back if you don't want to be treated like one. All right?
Yeah.
Facts.
He about put the hair back on his head.
He hit the rest of it. He hit the rest of Dobbs' hair off his body.
Oh, I see. I did the opposite. I thought he attached it right back to his head. Like, he hit him so hard he grew hair. Look, he showed up at the press conference with eyebrows. It was nuts. Dude got blitzed. Were you your quarterback going to be alive? Like, did you think you
I was moderately concerned that we were going to have to start Jaron Hall.
Quick, somebody get Tyrod Taylor's Chargers doctor.
All right, what's your next one?
I think there could possibly be a twofer here, but they already beat the shit out of them once, and then they're going to be playing them again at home. So I'll take the Texans beat the Jags today.
I was going to pick that.
What's the score?
Should be a good game. Let's go with was it like 30? Wasn't 31-30 like the last score?
It was pretty close.
Let's just say 31-30 again. Texans take down the Jags.
Okay, Scully and friends.
Oh,
I think everything else here feels like a trap.
It's literally Panthers, Titans, Saints, fucking ISIS.
I think I would probably of these trap games, the one that I feel most okay about is taking the Saints over ISIS.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think the Saints
fight the good fight. Good job.
I think the Saints beats the man whose mustache makes me want to commit acts of terror. But yeah,
it's abysmal.
It's the battle of my fantasy running backs. I guarantee you neither will score. So we'll go with the Saints. We'll go 20-17.
Just a month and a half more. And then it's over. The nightmare will be over.
Knowing Arthur Blank, it will never end. Whole country will have to be prescribed to 11 more months.
It will at least be over for that one Georgia city that I guess is incommunicado.
You know, if Arthur Smith sees his mustache in the mirror, it's 6 more weeks of winter.
Okay.
Football.
I'm going to dip back into another game and pick the opposite side of something. I am going to take the Browns over the Broncos. I think it could go either way, but I don't like the other game as much as this, and I think it could be a 12-9 game. I think Russell Wilson could possibly die on the field. Could not. So I think it's 12-9. I'll take it for double points to see if I can move back in. If not, Broncos win and move up, and Coho has to try.
Did Future do a collaboration with Myles Garrett?
Huh?
Did Future do a collaboration with Myles Garrett?
I don't even know. What are you talking about?
Future was married to Ciara before she married Russ. So
That one right over. I get you.
So to close this shit out, I have to pick between the Colts and the Bucks, and the Titans and the Panthers. That's disgusting. I'd rather take a shot at 2 and say that the Bears are gonna beat the Vikings. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Alright.
I mean, the Panthers only have one win,
We're
guys. I mean,
absolutely losing now.
the Titans.
We
could
would-
probably-
You only need 58 good minutes to beat the Vikings. So I'm gonna say
We would have the most interesting Week 13
That's
show of
offensive.
all time if that actually happened. I think Koho wouldn't show up. I don't think he would show up.
I'm gonna say this game is 16-8.
I mean, somebody's gonna score. I mean, they have good offense.
Oh, and the 8
Pre-game.
points come from 2 field goals and a safety.
Yes.
If the Lions beat the Bears, but the Vikings lose to the Bear, we're gonna report that Koho's on the injured reserve list. He ain't coming back. He's out for the season. Okay, so everybody Survivor pick. It does reset. Nazario is champion, so Nazario will get first.
Give me
You
that.
can
shit.
pick the same thing if you want, but
Okay, so I pick first.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go with the only sure thing this week. Tommy DeVito. Boom. Go. Giants.
Scully, what do you got?
I guess Nazario woke up this morning and got himself a gun.
He ate dinner with
Lions.
his family.
Lions over Packers.
Okay, Mark. I
Uh,
love these logos. They're my favorite. You should
Yeah,
use them also.
you know, just because I love to just fuck my eliminator pick every week. Let's just, since nobody else would do it, I'm gonna say the Tennessee Titans.
I like it.
Bryce Young versus Will Levis. Wow.
My pick for strategic purposes, and I always lose this anyways, this would just be helpful. I'm going to pick the Eagles over the Bills. Because if the Eagles lose, it helps my number 1 seed for the Lions. If they win, I get to play another round of Eliminator, which hasn't happened all season. So it's a win-win. I was going to pick the Bills just to spite, but my luck the Bills would lose. That wouldn't help my case, so I'm not doing that. Koho.
I'm taking Ravens over Chargers.
Ravens. Okay.
All right.
So following weeks.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Bang.
Nazario can't pick the Giants going forward. I don't know why he would. Scully couldn't pick the Lions. Mark couldn't pick the Titans. Don't know why he would. I can't pick the Eagles, and Koho can't pick the Ravens if they win. Never mind. I was going to put a bet on this and exclude Nazario, but I will lose, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to move on. That is the show. What's everybody thankful for? You know, what is everybody thankful for today?
Justin Jefferson is back this week. That's what I'm thankful for.
I'm thankful that I have optimism that the Boston Red Sox are actually going to spend money this offseason and get me 2 starters for Christmas. Check back in January when me and Scully cry if that does not happen. Nazario, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that Brock Purdy didn't turn out to be a one-season wonder, and that even though he had a devastating injury, he came back pretty decent. And even after the slip for a couple of games, he looks to be back on track, man. I'm happy. I have a fucking quarterback. It's been a fucking while.
Koho, Brock Purdy or Josh Dobbs? Who would you rather have?
Josh Dobbs.
Of course.
Delusional. Mark, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that we'll only have to deal with Brandon Staley, Arthur Smith, and Ron Rivera as head coaches for just 7 more weeks.
Maybe even less.
Scully, what are you thankful for?
Nah, a little
58
bit.
I'm thankful that Virginia McCaskey is 96 years old. We're almost there. We're almost there. It's like the Queen of England.
Jesus Christ.
We're just trying to wait it out.
We'll see you next week.
You guys don't understand. She is to me what Queen Elizabeth was to the Irish.
Fair point.
We'll see you next week. Happy Turkey Day. Bye-bye.
Cool.